Hey guys, today we really need to talk about banning of Alex Jones. If you didn't hear this right-wing host of InfoWars, Alex Jones, was banned basically from every major platform in the span of one day. From Facebook, from YouTube, from Apple Podcasts, and from Spotify. And this is wrong. Censorship in any way is wrong. Before we go any deeper, let me just say that I'm not particularly familiar with Alex Jones's channel. I've seen a couple clips. It's ridiculous. It's plain stupid very often. He looks to me as a sort of a buffoon in many of these videos, a bit of a crazy person, or as a person who just profits of an idiot who watch and believe him, which is morally bad and wrong. But like, what should I say? I'm a believer that you should think with your own mind and you should spot this shit, like find the opinion that doesn't contradict the reality. And if, I don't know, like 99% of people say some particular thing and one Alex Jones character says that, oh, there's a hoax and I don't know, government poisons your frogs or whatever the fuck, you should not believe him. You should use your own head to come to your own reasonable conclusions. However, I think that banning him is really bad. It's really bad for free speech, and in personal life, I'm really free speech advocate. You have to be able to say stuff that you want to say. Doesn't matter how outlandish it is, how ridiculous it is. It doesn't matter. And if anything, I think that Alex Jones is having these channels, having these Facebook pages, etc., and presenting his opinion is always good, because I can go to his video and I can point other people who might believe him or something that, look, this is what he says and this is the reality. Like, if you choose to believe one crazy person instead of like 20 scientists or something like that about like global warming, for example, something like that, you are also a crazy person. You need to straighten your mind. You need to put yourself together, put your shit together, and follow the facts and rationality and like logical thinking. If you straight up want to believe in some nonsensical reality, it's kind of your choice and it's up to you, but I wouldn't encourage you to do this. In any case, banning Alex Jones is really bad precedent. You needed one actor to basically set the chain action, like a domino effect. Once someone in Silicon Valley pulled the plug on him, the rest of them also pulled the plug on Jones's content as well. This is really scary because, yes, today they come for really outlandish person. Like, he's kind of a fucking meme, obviously. You've seen probably some content of him. He's a meme by now. He does bring more, I think, bad than good to this world or whatever, because he promotes all of this crazy nonsense that I think people should fight against with like science and reason and skeptical thinking and whatnot. But it's not okay to ban him. It's absolutely not okay to ban him, because today they banned him. Tomorrow they will ban someone like Sargon of Akkad, which on many views I might disagree with him and whatnot, but and I think some platform already tried to ban him. Maybe it was Twitter, maybe it was YouTube or something like that. And then what? Then they will come for Count Dankula or I don't know, like comedian like, I don't know, Tim Mitchell or something like that. This is absolutely not okay, and we're living in a simulation. 100%. This is just insane that I have to defend crazy person like Alex Jones, so that he should have the right to put his crazy shit into the world, and big companies shouldn't ban him. You see, the problem here is that these are the private companies, so technically they can do whatever the fuck they want because they're private companies, right? And it's an interesting idea that private companies, private individuals should not be kind of subordinated to the same laws as government, right? That government should not prohibit your speech and whatnot. I completely understand all of this, and it's all great and stuff, but when big platforms become so ingrained in like everyday life, and basically, if we are talking about YouTube is the platform for posting your videos, right? A lot of people just use this. A lot of people just use Facebook for getting their news or something like that. So I'm not saying that they should be the same law should apply to government and to the companies. Not saying that, but in a general sense, we're getting into this gray area where, let me just give you a comparison. In USSR or now in Russia, for example, or some post-USSR countries like Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, wherever, the censorship and the control of information comes from governmental censorship. Like there are literally laws that prohibit you say something, like if you mention in a negative way, like Putin or something like that, some KGB, I don't know, KGB, whatever the fuck, may come to you and ask you some questions politely, air quotes. So you would get the idea that you shouldn't post this shit. You would be fined probably with some money, etc., etc. In some times of political races before the elections, in countries like Russia, like Belarus, they were censoring oppositional websites basically. So like people inside of the country, like DNSs wouldn't be resolved, and therefore websites couldn't be opened. And in the West, it sure seems like the same sort of censorship starts in the big companies. In the private sector, people basically are willing to censor themselves, censor their own platforms. Before any government would do it or would offer to do it, they do it themselves because of the sort of oppression or like bullying. Basically, at this point, it is already bullying from the left, from the extreme left, that these idiotic people who want to censor a speech that they don't like, jokes they don't like delete all of this, kill the website, whatever the fuck. This is insane. From the person who was raised in the East, in the post-USSR countries, country and culture. This is insane that people do this to themselves. On the West, where government does not oppress you and doesn't press you to do this. They don't offer companies like in Russia now, they do this and they cover this in this veil of anti-extremist materials and very often anti-extremist material being materials that promote other opposition candidates, for example. And now, again, it's not one-to-one example, but it's just this little thought that on the West, where there is no governmental censorship most of the time at least, there is this thing that, oh yeah, we should just do it for ourselves. No, you should just stand for just freedom of speech generally. Yeah, it might be hate speech, it might be completely nonsensical speech, like Alex Jones is very often. But I'm sorry, but I've seen his interview with Count Dankula, and it was more or less normal. I mean, he still put some completely nonsensical, idiotic phrases there, but in general, he gave Count Dankula a platform. They spoke. I'm not sure if big things like CNN or BBC or whatever did this to a normal degree, have a normal conversation instead of pushing their agenda. In any case, second point I want to make, Boogie, 29 Boogie, Boogie, made a point that he's not particularly happy with Alex Jones, neither am I, but it's kind of good that he's been removed from the website, and he can always find his way to reach his audience, right? Well, first of all, it's not true really. If we are talking about podcasts, for example, Apple Podcasts are the way to go. I'm not sure if many people even use Apple Podcasts, but if they listen to podcasts, it's usually either SoundCloud, for example, or Apple Podcasts. Again, not saying that companies should be subject to the same rules as government, but again, we are in gray area already, where some big company accumulates so much sort of power in some particular area, like YouTube and video, Facebook and whatever the fuck. I don't know who's used Facebook, but apparently many people. Apple Podcasts in podcasts, of course. That is there should be some other rules for companies that they can't just, they shouldn't be able to just delete you from their platform. It's kind of ridiculous because again, you're using all of these platforms, and say right now Twitter, I think, is one of the platform that didn't ban Jones, at least day ago that I checked, something like that. But let's say in one day, all of them ban him. How can he even reach his audience if he's banned from all of them? Like, think about it. Like, if you would be completely erased from the internet and you can't reach anyone anywhere. Because right now, to a degree, this has already happened to this guy. Again, he's a buffoon. He's like completely crazy person, but maybe not crazy. Maybe he's just using like his very, I don't know, apparently idiotic audience. But again, if all of the platforms just pull the plug on you in one day, what do you need to do? Like, what can you do? And Boogie's point is that, oh yeah, you still have your domain. You can like find hoster that will host your website, etc. Yeah, except what if you can't find a hoster that will host your website? Okay, you can actually like, you know, set your own server and host your own stuff. Doesn't matter that much. But your name, alexjones.com or whatever the fuck, infowars.com, something like that, it is registered at a registrant company. What if that company pulls the plug on you and you can't even resolve your own website anymore? How then would you resolve issues? And this is not something like could never happen. Again, with hosters, it's not even that hard, even to set up your own server. But what about domain names? Because the scale of the conversation already skewed so much to the left that it's not like unimaginable to think that even in some registrars companies, it will be also skewed so much to the left that they would just say, oh, you know what, fuck this Alex Jones character. Let's pull the plug on his website. What else would you do then? Like Sargon of Akkad pointed, it's just the first step. But the overtone window, it's expanding. Like, how many people and which people can you ban? How many people can you ban that you actually don't like and don't want at your platform? Oh, we banned this guy, and the rest of the sort of ecosystem of this technological companies, they followed us. So, what if we pull the plug on, again, Sargon or something like this? Then on Contactlet, then I don't know, on other people. It's a really slippery slope, and if someone doesn't understand this, it's really bad. Again, I've never watched Infowars or Alex Jones's content. Again, only like some snippets of, I don't know, some stuff on Joe Rogan podcast or in general, just little snippet. And now I watched a few compilations of his outlandish shit. It's funny if you watch like Alex Jones's compilation. It's funny. It's like a funny character. You should not believe this shit, obviously. If you have your own brain that sits on your neck and to a degree at least functions, you should not believe what this guy is saying. It's like, it's really ridiculous. Many of the things that he's saying is ridiculous. But just saying that he can't do this, I don't think it's a good way to approach information and communication and free speech. What I'm trying to say is that it is your choice to actually just ignore it completely. Yeah, there will be many people who believe this shit. Well, there are billions of people who believe in gods and whatnot, and in some just old fairy tales. What can you do about it? Maybe you can talk about this instead of talking about one guy with a million subs or something like that on YouTube. Don't watch this. And instead of banning him, educate people who you know in life that they may propagate the same kind of nonsense and spreading the same shit. Again, I'm not saying that he's a good character or anything. It probably might be better that he's off these platforms and maybe he can now spread less misinformation. But misinformation should not be countered by banning people. Misinformation should be countered by educating people, by putting knowledge into people's head, by saying correct facts, by pointing at the irrational logic of Jones's points and presenting logical conclusions and logical explanations for whatever we're talking about. So, sorry, it's kind of a long rambling video, but it pisses me off so much that due to this bullying left-wing, like extreme left idiots, we are now kind of constantly living in this society that you don't know what can you say, like director of Guardians of the Galaxies. Why would you fire someone for tweets or whatever it was, like 10 years ago or something like that? Like this is ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. This mob mentality pisses me off so much that I just don't know. Like, people fucking wake up. Like, this mob mentality is never good. You read the examples of history where you think that mob will come and solve all your problems. The most valuable example is the USSR, obviously. It never does. It never solves your problems. Your problems get way worse, and actually more problems suddenly appear. And all you need is like some mobs basically going after you. It's never good. It's shit as fuck. People should be treated individually. People should be responsible for their actions. Again, if Alex Jones is like breaking some US law, file a court suit against him or something like that. Don't just ban him. This is ridiculous. Like, banning anyone is ridiculous. I've heard these things that Germans are banning Hitler's book Mein Kampf, or in general, like, try to erase him from the history. No, you should study this idiotic person, because, like, I'm sorry, but I can't say that a person is sane and normal if he goes and kills fucking millions of different race people. It's just not just a war, you know, for territory or something, but just completely wants to go and destroy certain nation. This is ridiculous. Go and study this. Go and read his things. The same with Alex Jones. Go and check fucking, I don't know, a video or two of him, so you'll see, like, this is like mental. You should never take him seriously, or almost never. And yeah, don't promote his things, but don't ban him either. So whatever. I don't know. Too long video anyway. In any case, thanks for watching, and think with your own head. Don't follow this like right-wing propaganda. Don't follow this left-wing propaganda. Be in center. There are people and concepts on the right that are good, like less taxes, please. Just the general one who wants to pay more taxes for governments that don't do much. On the left, there's good things too, like Medicare for all or something like this. It's good to have some social things, and it's good to be slightly restrictive in certain ways, like not such a huge military maybe, or whatever. Be more centric and be more rational. Don't just jump into conclusions, and don't just ban people because they offend. You're on the internet again. You're not like even in person with these agents. Like, just forget about it. If you're pissed about something, just close the tab, scroll the tweet down, close the video. You're not forced to do all of this. You're not forced to watch this, to listen this, to read like some stuff that you don't like. You're not in school anymore. You can just close the tab and it's not there. Like it never was. Easy as that. Whatever. I just wanted to mention this, that I think it's very bad, and I think it can be very slippery slope, and we as a community of rational human beings should not be for banning people and depriving them basically from the platforms. In any case, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.